groupishness is generally actually good. A lot of research in social psychology shows that when you divide people into teams to compete, they love their in-group members a lot more, and the hostility towards out-group members is usually minimal. So sports competitions, I'm at a big football school, UVA, University of Virginia, and the other team comes. There's some pseudo-aggression in the stands, hostile emotions, but that night there aren't bar fights when everybody's drinking together downtown. That's the way sort of healthy, normal, groupish tribalism works. But the tribalism evolved ultimately for war, and when it reaches a certain intensity, that's when the switches flip. The other side is evil. They're not just our opponents, they're evil. And once you think they're evil, then the ends justify the means. And you can break laws and you can do anything because it's in the service of fighting evil.
So take the subtitle, Why Good People Are Divided by Politics and Religion. Why are they? And what does the righteous mind have to do with it?
Politics has always been about coalitions and teams fighting each other. But those teams were never evenly divided on morality. Basically it all started, as you well know, on the day Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act. You tell me what he said on that day. I think I heard you say this once.
He actually said to me that evening, I think we've just turned the South over to the Republican Party for the rest of my life and yours.
Yeah, and he was prescient. That's exactly what happened. So there was this anomaly for the 20th century that both parties were coalitions of different regions and interest groups, but there were liberal Republicans, there were conservative Democrats. So the two teams, there were people whose moralities could meet up, even though they were playing on different teams. And once Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act and the South, which had been Democrat because Lincoln had been a Republican, so once they all moved over to the Republican Party, and then the moderate Republicans began to lose office in the 80s and 90s, and the last one's going just recently, for the first time we have an ideologically pure division of the parties. And now this groupish tribalism, which is usually not so destructive. We can usually, when you leave the playing field, you can still meet up and be friends. But now that it truly is a moral division, now the other side is evil. And there aren't really pairs of people who can match up and say, well, come on, we all agree on this, let's work together.